Hello and welcome to Two Yellows Make a Red, where we discuss some of the key talking points and refereeing decisions from the world of football. As ever, if this is your first time checking us out, remember to like the video, subscribe and leave a comment. You can also follow us on Twitter at Make a Red. Enjoy the episode.
Yeah, so our next topic is going to be all about the Rangers COVID breaches. So we had 5 players have came out or been found out to are guilty of going to a party, I'm pretty sure it was. And the 5 players have accepted, obviously, that they're going to be suspended by Rangers. Gerrard came out and said that after what happened earlier in the season, that this is just unacceptable, and quite rightly, the players are going to get a ban. So we're waiting to hear what the SPFL are going to come out and say, whether there's fines or bans. We'll find out, but what's everyone else's thoughts on the whole situation that's came up this week, Andrew?
Where do I start? Complete farce to begin with. It's another example, similar to Celtic's, of elite footballers taking advantage of their privileged positions, because that's what it is. If myself, Ryan, yourself, and I also have to follow COVID regulations, then so should elite footballers. And it really sets a precedent, in my opinion. It also makes the government's job even more difficult when, again, you've got us 4 following the rules and the majority of Scotland following the rules, albeit, Alistair's in Ireland and you're in Stoke, but the Netherlands. But it makes the government's job even more harder to get this, stay-at-home ruling to have a positive effect in Scotland when you've got players doing that. So just daft. I don't understand what goes through what's going through their minds for them to think that it's a good idea to A, party, and B, do it whilst representing Rangers Football Club and also thinking they can get away with it. They're obviously going to get found out. They're footballers. People are going to talk. I actually feel for Steven Gerrard because I think he's done a really good job this season, and it's noticeable by the points and the gulf between them and Celtic. And for him to now have to deal with this headache again, whilst challenging for their first title in however many years, that's a headache for him. And I can see you could see when he had an interview with Rangers TV, you could see he was just fed up. Because he'll have numerous conversations with players about it, and yet they thought it was a different. They thought they could do what they wanted. So I have sympathy for Steven Gerrard in this. Do I think the league is going to get shut down? Probably not, given what Sturgeon was saying. She did say when there was the first breaches a couple of months ago, that was a yellow card. Next breach would be a red card. But given that it's happened and it was a few days ago now and nothing's materialised and she's made comments on it, I don't think the league will get shut down. Shocker.
Yeah, I think it also, before I go into Alistair Ryan, but the fact that you had Jordan Jones and George Edmondson doing this right, as you say, a few months ago, and you see what happened with them. They both got 7-game bans, they both got fined. But the fact that they were both just dumped to the reserves, and then as soon as January hit, Jordan Jones was away out on loan. I think Edmondson, he's still at Rangers. He was injured at the time, so it was kind of pointless, a 7-game ban. But whereas now you've got, it was Calvin Bassey, Nathan Patterson, Zungu, Dapo Mabud and Brian Kinnear, and now 3 of them are very rarely even on the bench at Rangers. So 3 of them, it's not going to count so much for, like, if they were to be suspended, for instance. One of them, I was surprised
for Dapo Mabud.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. The one that really stood out to me was the fact that Dapo Mabud is on loan at Queen of the South, and the fact he's actually mingling with another team and then going back to Rangers and then also going to this party on the Saturday night. So there's 3 different groups he's going into. So he's actually, if anybody, I would say he's the worst, that he's going into a football club that he's on loan at for a couple of times a week to train, going back to Rangers, and then also going out at night. So I found it extremely strange that somebody like him, especially the fact that he's got more precautions, I would say, to take. I'm clueless. What's your thoughts on it, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I've never really thought about the point of obviously Maboudi's at Queen of the South. That's a really good point, Scott, as well. Obviously, everyone's got kind of the bubbles. I mean, look, they're human. They've made a mistake, but like everyone knows the way of the world just now. We're all following the regulations, as Andrew said. Same with most of the rest of the world. And as you've also said, obviously they're in a privileged position, so they're even more under the microscope. Unfortunately, they're not the first sort of celebrity who has defied the regulations. Probably won't be the last. But yeah, it's just a really stupid and idiotic situation. You've got 5 players, as you're saying, that hardly ever play, and they are going to risk jeopardising like what the Rangers first team are building. Like it's madness. It's just so irresponsible. Obviously, they're role models. They're meant to be setting a precedent, and they're just not doing that. That's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, there are clubs in Scotland just now, leagues 1 and 2 and below, who can't pay. Their leagues have been halted, and they're crying out for money, crying out to come back and play football. So these players aren't just jeopardising Rangers and their aspirations to the title. They're also putting the date that clubs like Falkirk, like Elgin, etc., are crying out for money. They're putting the date that they come back further down the line by annoying government. And on top of that, there's that side of things on the footballing side, and then on the personal side of things, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Rangers fans that will have been affected by COVID that may have lost loved ones to COVID, and they will be deeply unimpressed. I think that Edmondson and Jones was a 7-game ban, and they were also banned for 2 weeks from Rangers facilities. I mean, I think at a minimum that's what the players should get. I actually saw some Rangers fans online saying that they shouldn't be given a medal if Rangers do go on and win the league. I don't know whether I agree with that or not, but that shows you how frustrated Rangers fans are. That they've first of all jeopardised the health of people in the club, and secondly jeopardised not the title, but
I think
the season as a whole.
I think
I was just going to say, I thought Alex Ray on Super Scoreboard, right? So obviously it's come out that it's youth players, but this was before it was known that they were youth players. He said, and this is a quote, "First and foremost, if it was key players, you have to protect the asset. You have to factor in that if it's key players and you're going for a title, and maybe overlook it as if it was opposed to being a younger player and you want to send out a message." That was ridiculous. It doesn't matter whether it was Ryan Jack, Alan McGregor and Alfredo Morelos, or the kit man. Whoever it is should be getting the same ban. Yeah. And they're lucky that it was the younger players, and they're lucky that it was picked up before they were back in the squad mingling, and then other players had got it. But I just thought I remember hearing that and thought it was a ridiculous point. Absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. It really shouldn't be caring on what the name is on the back of the jersey. Every person should be taking the exact same, depending on whatever the situation is. But the fact that you've had 2 players done the exact same earlier in the season, turned up at a party, and then, against the rules, and the fact that nobody's none the wiser to them, they're meant to be turning up to training, and they're not going to say anything other than the 5 that were at the party know that they were there. So, the word to sum it up, I would say, is just selfish. The fact that they're happy to go and continue with their life, to have a drink or party, whatever they want to do, but just wait till, like everybody can't wait for the first weekend to go out and have a drink with their mates and go and do whatever they want. But as we've talked about and we've mentioned it a few times now, everybody's having to do this and everybody's struggled at certain points, but it's hopefully getting to the end of the tunnel that we're actually going to get to less and less restrictions and get back to some sort of normality. But these guys are just, as Alistair mentioned, they're delaying lower league football as well, which if you're a lower league fan, you're actually going to be hating these players for the fact that they're giving the government more leeway to go, okay, we'll just let the league wait another 3 weeks because these players are clearly not getting the message, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, you've both hit the nail on the head. Like, it's the key word there is selfish, and as Alistair was saying, obviously, and it only jeopardises their own health, obviously the people around them, and then obviously beyond that the Rangers squad, and then beyond that again the league, and then like you say, that obviously feeds into the lower leagues which are currently on, because obviously they're just going to, as you guys are saying, like annoy the government, which risks them cancelling the season, and then obviously that impacts on us. Now obviously whether they should be playing at all, that's a separate debate for another time. But, you know, say what you want about it, they're obviously trying to provide some sort of normality in the midst of all this anything but normal kind of thing.
Yeah, just touching on, obviously, I mean, technically speaking, it also has a repercussion on myself and the rest of the referees that are around about Fife, etc. When you talk about the leagues being suspended, that includes, you know, the amateur leagues, women's leagues that I referee in. So, in a roundabout way, effectively, their actions are also pushing back when I get back to refereeing. And I'll tell you, boys, the belly needs it because the belly is packed up, and I could do with some cardio. So, there's also health issues kicked in there.
Can't stop you from going for a run.
Well, no, but I can't even run about my estate with a whistle in my mouth. It just looks a bit weird. So,
I mean, you've got your dog walkers. Again,
yeah,
the excuses on the excuses.
A weird one asking Murphy to sit and then producing a yellow card and then telling him to watch himself. But another serious point, this is a personal opinion, I don't think any of those five will play for Rangers again. If Gerrard has any way about it. I mean, if I'm a manager of a football club...
It's interesting because Nathan Patterson is arguably Scotland's future right back.
Yes, I would agree with that. But if I'm Steven Gerrard and I've specifically told my players, you know, stick with the COVID, blah, 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 and they refuse to do that and go against what I've said, why should we give them playing time? And I get they're young and I get they'll make mistakes and stuff, but I think what hammers it home is the fact that players have already done that within the Rangers season. Edmondson, they've already committed that. And surely to God you would think, as a player, right, they've made a mistake, they've been punished for it, we shouldn't do it. So I just don't get the logical thinking behind them doing it. You know, when they've seen Phil Davies being punished for it.
I don't think it's a case of like, I don't know, Gerrard might choose never to pick them. It might, because I know he said he was very disappointed and he was let down. So he may choose not to play them again. I don't think as a rule of thumb you could say that we should never play for Rangers again. I know it's not exactly what you were saying, but because like Ryan said, I think it was Ryan at the very start, said that they are young people and people do make mistakes. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they served a suspension and Gerrard stuck them in the reserves for the rest of the season. And they didn't see first team action. Not that they were anyway, but like if Rangers had wrapped the title up, there's a chance that like Patterson and that would have started games and things. I think if Gerrard, I could see Gerrard sticking them in the reserves, but I don't think it's not. I think after the season's over and once they've served a punishment, you know, everybody deserves a second chance.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Pick back up on the point again, just quickly before we wrap things up. Do we think this has a chance of stopping the league? Do we think this might be the final straw for Sturgeon, etc.?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
No,
I don't think so. No.
I think we're too far on in the season now for them to and we've had COVID breaches at Kilmarnock, at St Mirren, and Rangers before, as we've discussed. But I just think we're now that we're so close to the finish line. You're as well just going, right, do it until you just play out the season now. There's less than 10 games to go, so you can't. I think it's now pointless in stopping the season. You're now at the point.
I was just going to say that I think when Sturgeon said, he was asked in the press conference, and she said, "Get your house in order," meant that I don't think there is an imminent threat that she's going to cancel Scottish football. I think it's a "don't make me step in again" kind of thing. Because I think things are getting better in general in society. The hospitalisations are coming down, the positive infection rate is coming down and stuff. I think it was a kind of slap on the wrist. Basically, get your house in order, or I'll step in again.